Lovely. So, welcome to my anti-diet webinar. My name is Mel Wakeman, if you don't know me already, and I am your anti-diet nutritionist. I'm a registered nutritionist, which basically means I do know my onions. I've got 27 years of experience of teaching and working in the field of nutrition. And essentially, I help women escape the land of fad diets and eating rules to find a stress-free, healthy relationship with food and themselves. So that's what I do for a living. And really tonight, I'm going to show you how you can find some food freedom to move away from the restrictive eating plans, the counting of the calories, the points and sins that you may well be familiar with if you've got a history of dieting on and off over the years, so that you can create some real headspace to do the most important things, I think, that probably really matter to you in life, to change things that are really worth changing and to find your best self. Okay. Now, the challenge that we have today is that we are all swimming in this giant pool that is called diet culture. Okay. Now, we can't really escape that because diet culture is everywhere. It's in everything that we read, see, watch, and listen to. And what diet culture is telling us essentially is that we're not good enough if we're a little bit overweight. We're not good enough if we don't conform to this ideal that is essentially somebody who is healthy, slim, eating all of the right foods and investing in themselves to take care of themselves in the best way possible. Okay. So what it's basically saying is that, when we were born, Mother Nature didn't know what she was on about, and we need to change ourselves to make ourselves better. And I'm here to say to you that you don't have to change at all. You are entirely worthy enough as you are, but the challenge may well be for you to come to accept who and what you are right now. And you may well be having feelings that you perhaps want to go back to a level of health, a body weight, or a clothes size that you were, albeit in a previous life or so many months or years ago. But Mother Nature and our genes and our biology have a huge part to say about whether or not that is in fact possible. And actually, as we get older, the thing that I think is most important is that we need to kind of embrace where we're at, embrace change, and come to realize that we don't need to go backwards. And if we want to move forwards and find better health that is sustainable, then we kind of need to let those diets go. So have you ever heard those voices that say to you, I should be smaller, my tummy should be flatter, my thighs and my bottom should be more toned? Because that is the voice of diet culture, okay? That's what we hear and see and read, as I say, in every women's health magazine, diet book that we've ever bought that's sitting on our shelves, advert that we've seen of these sort of perfect people. Even your well-intending friends and family members that tell you or comment on your body shape or your weight or your size. So that's not your voice. Those are not your thoughts. But what's happened is that diet culture has repeatedly sent you messages that we've kind of internalized over time. And we could be looking at, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years of hearing similar ideas that we have to eat certain foods to be healthy, that certain foods are naughty or bad or unhealthy and we shouldn't really have those. And again, that, we need to be slim in order to be healthy. And to be honest, that's complete bullshit. Okay. When I have spent 20 odd years studying nutrition, I'm an applied physiologist, so I've taught nurses and midwives and paramedics and you name it, all sorts of healthcare professionals about health and disease, about nutritional support and how to nourish our body and mind. And it's really interesting when actually, if I was to tell you that your body weight and what you may have heard of in terms of your body mass index, I call it the bullshit measuring index, to be honest. It's such a poor indicator of your health. What have I told you that, say, not only weight, and particularly for fatter people, weight and BMI is not the most important indicator of your health. That being fat, whether you talk about it externally or internally, I hear people talking about the term sort of skinny fat, because we can't assess people's health based on their appearance. But in actual fact, fatter people, larger people with higher BMIs are not necessarily at a greater risk of heart disease or diabetes. And so much of what we read and see and hear in the media is scaremongering. It's oversimplified, and they cling on to the idea that because there's an association, there's a pretty weak link between food and health, that therefore it's the be all and end all, that diet causes a lot of our health problems. And it absolutely doesn't. So that's probably another conversation to be had. But I'm here to reassure you that if you're sat here listening about the fact that you're constantly told that being overweight or being fat is bad for your health, it may well not be. It's more about your behaviours than it is about the actual weight that you're hitting, in terms of it's not about the scale or the number on the scale. The diet industry, the multi-billion pound diet industry, is so large because it's playing on your insecurities, it's playing on your vulnerabilities, and it's cashing in on the fact that it's telling you something that makes you doubt yourself, and therefore you feel that you have to change because you're not good enough. So I have created the anti-diet system to combat and really kind of stand up towards the diet industry. They say they are tapping into your insecurities. What the anti-diet system does is teaches you how to connect with your own inner wisdom. Now, you have a perfectly well-functioning, inbuilt, hardwired system that tells you when you're hungry, when you're full, when you've had enough, when you're not hungry, tells you what you feel like eating, tells you how to best nourish your body. But many of us are simply disconnected from that system. What the anti-diet system does is it harnesses the power of your inbuilt system that you already have. It's in there, it's free. You've got all the ability that you will ever need to improve your health and find health and happiness in your own skin. You just need to tap into it. And what the diet industry does and diet culture does is it encourages you to tune out of that inbuilt system rather than harness it. So what diets do is they tell you to follow very strict and rigid plans. They tell you to count points and calories and to focus on the minute detail of your diet, which completely detaches yourself from your body. So you stop listening to it. And ultimately, what you're doing is following a plan and ignoring your body completely. And if you've ever got to that moment where you thought, I am so hungry, I'm scared to eat, I don't know what I want to eat, I don't know what I feel like, but this sort of kind of overwhelming primal hunger comes into play, where all you want to do is eat the whole packet of biscuits or the giant bar of chocolate. That is your body yelling at you saying, you've been ignoring me all day or all week or all month. And what happens, particularly around holiday periods, is that we let go, so to speak, and we have these full out, I can't really stop eating. It's kind of like a binge scenario where we've given ourselves permission finally to eat the foods that our body really wants, but our body loses that that stop button, because the urgency and intensity has built up so much over a period of time. So what I'm going to do for you this evening is share with you my anti-diet system. This is how we can find freedom from food in terms of all the stress and the conversations that go on in our head, and find a way to nourish both our emotional health and our physical health in a way that is sustainable. We hear a lot about the benefits of, lifestyle approaches to diets. That isn't going to mean you've got to deprive and starve yourself, because when we do that, your body fights back. If you've ever wondered why your weight has yo-yoed over the years because you've gone on a diet, restricted yourself, it's worked in the short term, as most diets will do. Most diets rarely work in the long term. In fact, from my experience of working in the area of weight science, there is no diet that enables you to maintain a degree of weight loss for a prolonged period of time. So I'm going to share with you how we can look at mindset, our eating behaviors, and also body image. Those three pillars, my three pillars of transformation, are for me fundamental in helping to leave diets behind. Okay. Mindset, eating mindset in terms of our beliefs and behaviors and thoughts around foods, the reasons why we eat and how we feel about our body, is all the stuff that diets don't address. Okay, so as soon as you stop that and fall off the wagon, as it were, you haven't learned anything about your body, you haven't understood it, and so you go right back to where you were, probably in a worse off position. Okay. So I'm going through the magic of the internet and the webinars. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you exactly what I'm talking about in terms of what we need to address in order to leave diets behind. Okay, so hopefully you can see this on your screen, and you'll see that I've created in the anti-diet system a 12-week online program. Okay, so this doesn't matter where you are located in the UK. I'm based near Birmingham, or around the world for that matter. It's a small group program, so I'm a massive believer of, when I work with my clients, I'm all in, I'm there. You get access to me throughout the 12-week period. You get my support and guidance. But through this program, you'll get 12 modules that will take you through the logical steps of helping to release diets for good. So we begin with creating the anti-diet mindset. We explore what diet culture looks like, a little bit of what I've touched on already. And we start to explore your own beliefs and thoughts around food. And you may have certain ideas and beliefs that certain foods are bad for us and are not healthy and we shouldn't eat them. So there's lots of views around carbohydrates like that, for example. Lots of fear around sugar, that we need to be sugar-free and low carb. I'm going to explore with you where your beliefs and thoughts around food have come from. So we may well go back over your past diet history, and we'll identify what your fears of food are, and we'll start to unpick them. And that way, once we understand where your beliefs that aren't serving you in any way, where they've come from, we can start to shift the narrative. We can undermine these false beliefs, because I can tell you now, they won't be true. And we can replace them with truths and evidence that means that you can start to shift your mindset around the foods that you will give yourself permission to eat. Now, much of not dieting is about respecting your body. So moving to module 2, we're going to start to raise your self-awareness, okay? Now, whereas I was mentioning before, what diets do is they encourage you to tune out of your body, to fall deaf to the cues and signals that are coming from your body to tell you when to eat, what to eat, why you're eating, all of those sorts of things. So we need to learn how to tune back into our body to be able to listen to it in the first place before we can start to interpret what these cues and signals are really trying to tell us. So if you've ever sort of recognized that, there'll be times when you're hungry and you'll eat when you're hungry, but this is now going to start to explore, well, what happens when you're eating when you're not hungry? Why is that? What is it that your body's really asking for? But also to really connect with your body and to connect with the food that you're eating. I bet you're listening to this thinking, okay, connect with my food. Do you eat your lunch at your desk? Do you eat while you're in the car driving? Do you eat while you're watching the TV? Checking on your mobile phone? When we're trying to multitask and eat at the same time, we don't have the power to focus on the food. We will ignore all the textures and sensations and flavors, and we'll get to the end of that meal and be like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't very interesting. And when we haven't had that full sense of satisfaction, we're on the lookout for more things, the other thing that might press that button. So we're going to develop your mindful eating skills. Module 3 introduces you to a hunger cue system. I, in my work, use hunger ratings. So we'll explore what it physically feels like. What are the sensations that you notice when you're hungry? Not the really last minute ones that come in when I could just eat anything, I don't care. I'm opening up the cupboards when I get back from work and I just want this food to kind of fall out onto me. But what are you noticing when you might be just starting to feel a bit hungry? There's times where you go, oh, no, it's not important yet. I haven't got time. I've got this report to do. I've just got to do this phone call. I've got to go and fetch the kids, let the dog out. We put eating on a back burner. It's now time to make food and eating more of a priority in your life. So you can start to recognize those earlier signs of hunger and also those earlier signs of emerging fullness. When you're just starting to get full, you might think, you know what, I could probably stop eating now, rather than eating in a distracted way, mindlessly, and then going, oh, blimey, I've overdone it. That feeling where you're just like, oh, I wish I shouldn't have eaten all that. I could have stopped a way bit earlier. That's what we need to try and identify in terms of your stopping points. Module 4 is finding your satisfaction button. This is about when you've eaten something and you go, yeah, that was nice. I don't need anything else. I really enjoyed that. Now, you might get a level of satisfaction when you're kind of 100% full, but you can also find a level of satisfaction when you're maybe 50% full, 60% full. There's a real difference between having food physically in your tummy and being open and receptive to all the other experiences that you get when you eat that help you press that satisfaction button and make you appreciate what you've just eaten. Right, the middle sandwich, in the middle of the 12-week program, we're going to get into the emotional side of things, okay? So, module 5, we're going to challenge the food police. The food police live in your psyche, they're hidden deep down in there, and these are the voices that we hear in all of our heads. You're not going mad, I have these voices too. And they are the voices that kind of question you, and particularly the ones that are negative and go, what did you do that for? You said you weren't going to do that. You said you were only going to have 2 biscuits. Now you've eaten the whole packet. For goodness sake, you're never going to do this. You're such a failure. That's the negative food police that I'm talking about. So the voices that come from our own head, but also those influencing voices that we hear in our environment from maybe sort of the judges, the loved ones again that, unintentionally are commenting where it's probably none of their business, but they feel a need to comment on what you're eating and what you're having or not having. It might even be from people that you don't know. You might just be feeling very, very self-conscious and aware of what other people are saying. So again, we need to find a way to change that narrative. You need to protect that bubble in your head that tells you, you know what you're doing and that your body knows what it's doing. You have to learn to trust your body and let go of those voices that aren't serving you. So we're going to deal with that. How do we deal with eating in public situations? What do you do when you're out at a restaurant? How do you deal with that feeder in your family? I have a mother-in-law. I know exactly what it's like. Module 6. I speak to lots of people that really worry about eating emotionally, comfort eating. Now, I'm here to say that that does not matter. Comfort eating is a natural, normal, soothing mechanism that your body has learned to help you feel better. And believe you me, your body will be doing its utmost to look after you in the best possible way. But if you recognize that you are using food as a constant go-to crutch, then we probably need to get to that root cause and find some other, probably more effective solutions that are going to help you support your body. And typically we're looking at dealing with anxiety, stress, boredom, and loneliness. Okay, those are the key reasons that we eat emotionally. So we need to find ways we can support our body, and we do that in module 6. Module 7 and 8, we're starting now to look at how we feel about ourselves. We need to find a place where we feel happy within ourselves, happy in our own skin. So that again may well be starting to really understand what role our genes and our biology has in not only how tall we are and what colour hair and eyes we have, but also our body shape and our body size. And I'll explain to you how our body set point works, so you can get a real understanding about why you are who you are, and that that's not a bad thing. But we also need to maybe do some work on your body image. So if you've got areas of body dissatisfaction, and quite typically there will be parts of our bodies that we don't like. Again, that's normal. And there may be parts of your body that you loathe, that you detest. Maybe you can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror, okay? Now, to me, that's a pretty sad state of affairs. And I'm saying this from experience. I have had many a year where I have battled with my own body image. I have hated what I looked like. I lost all my self-confidence, my self-esteem. I kind of lost myself through different sort of difficult life challenges. So we're going to stop looking at the little bits that we don't like and find ways in which we can start to accept all of our flaws, okay? And not necessarily get to a place of self-love where, you know, we're all adoring. That can be quite unattainable for many women and many people. But finding a way where we can start to find a little bit more gratitude and comfort in who we are. And then the last part of the sandwich is to find how we can bring in movement into our life and focus on nutrition. Because you may have noticed that I haven't talked about food at all much at the moment. We may have identified how food makes us feel and our beliefs and rules and fears around food, but we're not going to come into looking at the principles and practical side of eating until we've addressed all of that mindset stuff beforehand. Because there's no point, and I'm actually not going to prescribe and dictate to you what you should be eating, okay? Any nutritionist that does that, you need to run it and leg it, okay? It's not my job to tell you what specifically to eat, because I'm not you. I don't know how hungry you are. I don't know what foods you like. We'll work all of that out. But until you've released these food rules and fears and opened up your mind to be able to realize how and why your body needs nourishment, you're not going to be open to considering eating certain foods that you might be putting in a place that is off limits at the moment. So we need to look at movement. I talk a lot about joyful eating. I focus on joyful movement. You may have had experiences whereby exercise at school was punishing, that you've used exercise to punish yourself, to compensate for overeating and overindulging. It's time to let go of that, explore the obstacles and things that are stopping you from exercising, because at the end of the day, we need to move our body. We have to do that. but let's find ways in which you will find a degree of enjoyment and fun in it. It's absolutely crucial. So we work out what good nutrition looks like. I very much focus on flexibility, flexible planning, flexible eating, so that you're always respecting your body and responding appropriately to your body needs. And essentially, over the last 2 weeks, we look at ways of finding balance with our eating. How do we practically get all of the things that our body needs in our diet over time? We're not going to focus on the individual meals. We're going to look at flexible daily, weekly and monthly meal plans, so that you don't get overly stressed and don't go back into that mindset of I need to rigidly plan everything that I'm eating. You don't. You really don't. So over the 12 weeks, you will have created a fantastic and really comprehensive personal toolkit that is tailored to you. That means that you can go back to that at any point and revisit any of the work that we've done to help you bring yourself back round to a place where you feel comfortable. So I'm just going to stop the share and I can talk to you again face to face. Here we go. So I'm wondering, is any of this resonating with you? Are you feeling like you would like to change your mindset around food, to stop stressing about it all the time, to change some of your eating behaviors so that you know exactly what you're eating is meeting your body's needs? Because when we start to restrict our food intake, and so the diets will typically ask us to remove certain food groups or certain types of foods, we are at risk of malnourishment. You don't necessarily fully understand the implications of removing entire food groups from your diet unnecessarily. And I see a lot of this when I look at people that are unnecessarily following very low carbohydrate diets, gluten-free, dairy-free diets. It kind of scares me that they're going into it blind. So what do you get from this? You stop stressing about food. You learn to stop eating your feelings. You learn to find joy with food. You learn to silence that inner bully, that nagging voice that kind of tells you that you're not good enough. You learn to stop feeling frustrated and disappointed with yourself. You get to understand your body's blueprint, the influence that your genes have, your weight set point, so that you can be really honest and real with your expectations about what it is that you want to achieve with your body. You're going to learn how to respect your body's emotional and physical needs, your nutritional needs. You're going to develop an effective self-care practice so that you can meet all of your body's needs, not just through food. You're going to stop hating your body or bits of it. You're going to find a weight at which you feel both healthy and happy. You're going to find ways of moving without dreading it. You're going to feel happier from within, and you're also going to be able to model a healthier relationship with food to the other people that are important in your life. So if you've got children, no matter what their age, you can role model something that you will feel confident that they're going to pick up the right information when we are surrounded by all of this diet culture. And you will have come out of it with a fully comprehensive personal toolkit that you can check back in again and again. So that's the system, that's the plan. And if you're interested in coming on board, I run this on a monthly basis, and I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. But I always offer a free 30-minute chat, I call it 30 Minutes with Mel. It's a no obligation free chat, and I will discuss with you your personal situation, give you some really valid insights, tips and advice about what you can do right now. But if you want to hear more about this program from me on a one-to-one level, then just drop me a message. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram as Mel Wakeman. I'm also on LinkedIn as Mel Wakeman, and I also have my website, which is wakemannutrition.com. So just drop me a personal message, or on my website, you can message me through that, or simply book in a 30-minute Mel session there, and let's see how you can take away the dieting from your life forever, because I can guarantee you will be so much better off for it. Okay, so I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for watching. So now you're wondering how you can join the next run of the anti-diet system. Well, just to let you know, we begin not on the 1st of January or the 2nd. We don't begin in the second week of January. We're going to wait and let all that New Year resolution chaos fizzle out. And we're going to be working on setting some intentions to begin on Tuesday, the 21st of January 2020. And we're going to run over 12 weeks right up until the 14th of April. Okay. Now, what happens over these 12 weeks is that you will receive a weekly lesson. Each module will arrive into your inbox, and it will include a, on average, 15-minute video lesson by me. There will be some actions such as journaling, reflection, and some prompts in your email, plus an exercise to do. So that's kind of your homework, which will involve you working through stuff, reflecting and implementing, practicing some of the things that I've been talking about in the video lesson. The idea will be that you've then got an opportunity to share and discuss what's come up, and you can do that in a private WhatsApp group. That's just for your particular cohort going through the program at that time. So we're looking at small numbers, lots of support. So that means that you get both accountability and support from the other members on the same journey as you, but you get all access areas to me. I get to hold your hand and support you the whole way. So we will have a weekly group coaching session where I will help you work through and discuss and work out what's going on. I will coach you live on those weekly sessions that run for an hour, but you've also got access to me via the WhatsApp group 7 days a week. So generally I will reply certainly within 24 hours. And there again, whenever those things come up, you don't have to wait to your next session. You can discuss this, share it, and I will help you get through that. So that for me is what makes the difference when you're trying to make changes to your habits, changes to your belief system. That's what's going to really help you embrace and take on everything that you're learning. So let's talk about the cost. Okay. Now this is running at £725 for a 12-week, all-inclusive, all-access program supported by me the whole way. But I'm not going to offer it for you at £725. My offer for the January intake is £575. Okay, still bloody bargain if you ask me. But because you've taken the time out of your day to watch this webinar, I'm going to give you a little extra bonus. So if you can quote to me ADS, Anti-Diet System 50, I'll give you another £50 off. So that's £200 off the original price of the program, okay? And the easiest way would be for you to put up £175 up front, and then you can spread the cost and pay me back by the end of February. So I have no problem at all doing installed payments to help you, whatever makes it easiest. And if you want to talk to me about these options, then please feel free to message me directly after watching this, or we'll book in a 30-minute call and we can work through and put in place a plan to exactly meet your needs, okay? It's easy done. It's as easy as that. So if you're in, tell me you're in and we'll get things started. I can get you into the group and we can start to already do some work, get to know each other, and you'll already actually be starting ahead of the game. So I would be delighted to help you and work with you through 2020 and make it really the year that you have to stop dieting. You will benefit more than you can possibly imagine. Diets will do you more harm than good. this is the stuff that is really going to help support and improve your health and how you feel about yourself emotionally. So have a great day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye bye.